Welcome to Monday Mojo, and obviously, we're joined by a special guest, Anthony. And I've met Anthony via Facebook, but he's actually over in Germany, and it's like 2:30 in the morning. So he's actually on his break right now, and giving us his fitness story. So it's amazing. I won't steal all his thunder because I know he's got a lot to share, but I'll give it back to you, Anthony, and you can share, and I'll show you pics when you're ready for them. So.
Awesome. Well, my name is Anthony. Anthony Orsillo. I run Orsillo Fitness. It is a team beachbody business that is focused on actually skinny guys getting big. That's really what I've really coined. In fact, my blog that I've started and my Instagram are all skinny guy got big. So that's really what really I focus on. A little bit of my test fit money. I started off with Beachbody about 4 years ago now. I started with P90X, and my wife actually brought in P90X and said, "Hey, let's do this." And we did it, and we didn't finish it. So then we continued to go on. I enlisted in the Air Force. I felt very strongly that I was pulled in that direction, so I enlisted in the Air Force. And really big background, I was actually a gymnast. I was a competitive, very, very high level competitive gymnast up until about 17 years old, and I got hurt and couldn't do it anymore, so I got lazy. So going into the Air Force, I needed to get back in shape. I actually couldn't string 12 push-ups together. I was just a skinny kid with a six-pack and couldn't do anything. I was super weak. Did Insanity, actually finished it, was really proud of myself, got to the Air Force for basic, and ended up in the 95th percentile for fitness. After basic training, I actually went to a really very, very stressful, very high level school and became an Arabic linguist. So I am fluent in Iraqi and modern standard Arabic, which is kind of cool. However, the intensity of that school causes some psychological things to happen. I just got lazy, and and after basic training, just decided to fall off the bandwagon of fitness and got back into it with T25 about 6 months later. Finished the program, got lazy again. Actually, at that point, I was a coach, had fantastic results with T25. For the first time in my life, even when I was a competitive gymnast, I'd never had an 8-pack. For the first time in my life, I got an 8-pack. That was really cool. And I then became a Beachbody coach. Right out the gate, hit Success Club 10. I think I got as high as Success Club 12 in the first month. Second month, I think I might have gotten 5. But like I said, I was at the school, and in this school, it's extremely stressful. And right about the time that I got into Beachbody coaching, my end of course test was coming up. Unfortunately, through circumstances outside my control, I failed my end of course test, and pretty much just spiraled into this really big depression that kind of just threw me off the bandwagon. During that time, all of my coaches left. I had made it to Emerald and was making about $800 a month, and I got really depressed, just fell off the bandwagon, and allowed myself to just kind of spiral into this pit of despair, I guess you could say, as I was dealing with the process of changing careers and moving everything around within the Air Force. I got reassigned and am now what's called a briefer in the United States Air Force. And I went to Goodfellow, bought Max 30, was really excited about it, on the bandwagon again, just going straight for it, and got derailed again. That was about a year ago that happened. And I got orders to Germany. And when I got here, I'd had this amazing experience, this amazing spiritual experience, where the night before I moved to Germany, my family threw this big old going away party for me. And the only way I can explain it is that God showed up. He showed up in the most incredible way. I was rebaptized. I recommitted my life to Jesus that night. And that caused me to become introspective and to look at the reasons why I do the things I do. And as I was coming to Germany and I was ramping myself up to start Body Beast because I was sick and tired of hating who I saw in the mirror. I realized that hatred that I had for myself was the same exact self-fulfilling prophecy that I was speaking over my life that was causing me to not actually be successful in the fitness programs I was doing. That was causing me to yo-yo and to come into fitness and come away from fitness and come into fitness and come away from fitness. What I realized, and this is a revelation that I had, was that my investment in myself was not worth the primary investment of getting to the point of fitness, because when I looked at myself in the mirror, I saw an underperforming stock. And if you go to my blog, OrsilloFitness.com, there's a tab called Skinny Guy Got Big. That is my blog. And I wrote an entire article about it. But basically what it is when you're coaching your customers, and when your clients are asking questions and they come to you and they buy a challenge pack, are you selling them a challenge pack because it'll pay your bills? Are you selling them a challenge pack because it will increase your bottom line? Or are you selling them a challenge pack because psychologically you can actually change someone's life? Because when you're building this business and when you're looking at this, you can actually change the way that someone thinks. Body Beast actually, for lack of a better phrase, it actually saved my life. Because when I looked at myself and I realized that I was trying to change who I was based on what I saw in the mirror, because what I hated what I saw in the mirror. I was just a skinny guy who couldn't get big, who couldn't do anything, who couldn't overcome these hurdles. And I realized that when I dropped that mindset of looking in the mirror and hating myself, and I changed it to actually look in the mirror and finding something that I actually liked about myself, something that made me worth investing, then I could actually invest in myself every day, and I can make the difficult decisions. And the days when I couldn't actually press play, or when I couldn't make the gym, it wasn't derailing. It wasn't something that just completely destroyed my fitness journey, because I knew that my investment was for the long term. I was saving up for retirement. I wasn't trying to buy a bike tomorrow. And so that was a huge, paradigm shift in my thinking, is that as I go, I need to ensure that where I'm at, what I look at and what I see is worth the investment. In the article I talk about McDonald's stock. If you were shopping for stock to retire, right? And you got into the stock market, and you looked at all the stocks in front of you, and you saw McDonald's stock, and you're like, man, that's like $108 a share, right? It's doing well. If I buy into that right now, maybe by the time I'm 60, it'll be worth $120, $130 a share. I will net a profit from that, right? But then you look at, like, let's just say Pampers goes bankrupt, right? I'm a dad, so like diapers are a big thing to me. Let's say Pampers goes bankrupt, and you're seeing what was once a $50 a month stock, or $50 share stock, going down to like 2 cents. You're not going to look at that and see a value in what you're purchasing, because when you see that, you're going to see an underperforming stock. So why would you make the initial investment in that stock? And it's the same thing with our fitness journey. When you look in the mirror and you see something that's underperforming, you see something that you absolutely hate, when you look at that, you actually loathe what you see in the mirror, which, let's be honest, when we look in the mirror, how many of us actually love what we see, right? If you can stop yourself from looking at yourself in the mirror and being like, I hate everything about that. I want bigger arms. My chest is too small. I don't even have a six pack. I have a kegger. I don't have any definition. And you see that and you look at that and you're like, I want it to be changed. Not I want it to be better, but I want it to be changed because I hate what I see. You're never ever going to get past that point. Some people can use hatred as a motivator, but they can't use it for long. Sometimes that hatred will dissipate. Actually all the time, that hatred will dissipate, and you'll be left with just emptiness. So my proposal, my view on fitness that has really just absolutely changed my life and kept me on the bandwagon, since I've finished Body Beast, now I'm in my second round, that really helped me to get my best results, was looking and saying, you know what, you are worth it. You are an amazing human being. You are someone that is loved, admired, cherished, and honored, and moving forward in that. And in that belief, then looking in the mirror and being like, but you can be better. You can be the best you can be. And to be better, you have to do these things. By doing that, it it really just changed my life, and it's changing my clients' lives. A lot of them have never heard this, have never even thought of that. I've got women in my challenge group who are, really overweight, that really need, that really need this to change. And coming from that point of love yourself, love who you are, and that will change you. I think so often in the fitness industry, we capitalize on the fact, on people's, self-loathing. We capitalize on and we capitalize on that moment that, oh, I just don't like what I see, or I just want to have a bikini body by summer. And we capitalize on that, and because we're fitness professionals, we want to help people. But the problem is that if we get them their bikini body by summer, fantastic. They'll probably be customers for life. But will they actually maintain their healthy lifestyles? And will they actually change? Because are we actually teaching them that what you see in the mirror is not actually who you are, but who you are is what matters? Or are we teaching them that what you see in the mirror is what defines you, and what defines you is who you're going to be the rest of your life? So like that, I mean, I kind of am rambling a little bit, but my whole goal in fitness now, especially with my customers, is to teach them that along this way they are admired, cherished, and honored, and that in that admiring, cherishing, and honor, if we can bring them to that point, then I'll have, not only will I have clients for life, I'll have coaches that are just rock star coaches. I'll have people that are changing for the better, that are losing weight as an ancillary. I just lost my train of thought. As a symptom of what they're doing, and it'll be something that's great, but it won't be the be all end all for them. So once finishing Body Beast, coming back to my story, finishing Body Beast, I put on 12 pounds, which I've never been able to do. I've been 165 since high school, and I ended up right around, I say 12 because it was about 15, but sometimes you fluctuate. So I sit right around 180, 178. I have increased my regularity has increased. Everything has just become this really nice package that looks well, and and I owe that to Body Beast, and I owe that to, honestly, to the paradigm shift, the loving who I am. That when I now when I look in the mirror, I could actually almost be called self-centered or narcissistic, because when I look in the mirror, I'm like, yeah, I love who I see. I love who that is. My wife always makes fun of me because she says I've never seen a mirror I didn't like, and it's true. But at the same time, it came, it really was life changing to be able to, because I used to look in the mirror and be like, oh, and I did never look in mirrors except to criticize myself. And so, that was life changing. And, my wife is starting to come on that thinking as well, of loving herself. And, with women, it's even harder. You have thousands of images a day telling you you're not good enough. And I think that if you can come to the point where you realize that you actually are, where you are, you're beautiful, you're wonderful, you're an amazing human being. Coming to that point, I think this movement of, not body shaming and like all bodies are beautiful. Yes, all bodies are beautiful, right? But we do have a standard of beauty that in our culture. But my thing is that if you look in that mirror and you think that you're beautiful, then you are, and you'll. But you should never stop where you're at. You should always be self-improving. You should always be increasing your ability to work out and to do bigger and better things. And those things will cause actually the pounds to fall off. So that's about all I have. I know that was only 20 minutes, but that is really
powerful.
Really,
yeah. Whatever the length, that was powerful. That was fantastic. Thank you.
You're welcome.
As you were talking, I was like scanning people's heads, and there's a lot of nodding, like yes, yes, yes. So, I think that your message that you shared is just resonating with so many people. It's clear that it's worked so well for you, and that it's working for your clients as well. And I love it. I love the way that you gave the analogy of the stock. I think that it was just pops so well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I said, if you want a more in-depth view, I wrote about it, wrote about a page and a half in my blog about it. There's 2 posts. I drop a post about a week every week, and there's some cool stuff there that as I get revelation, as I download, I put it in there, and I'm pretty proud of it. So.
Absolutely. And for those of us, those who might be just joining us, why don't you give your blog once more?
Yeah, so my website is orsillofitness.com. My name is actually labeled right there. So it's ORSILLO Fitness. And the blog is Skinny Guy Got Big. So there's a tab up top and it says Skinny Guy Got Big. And that's it. And then you can also follow me on Instagram at Skinny Guy Got Big. And, that's it.
Absolutely. Yeah, got to connect. Did you say that you had some photos that you'd like to share?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, I'm on my cell phone, so I can't. That's my before picture. That's actually right about 30 days. That was 30 days in. My before picture, I don't know if I shared it with you, was a little pudgier. But yeah, if you want to go forward.
Come on. There we go. There's the second one.
And that's at 60 days. So you can see the definition. Sorry, it's not that close, but you can see the definition happening. I mean, Body Beast is legit. And what I love about it is the app is amazing. And there's some really great stuff if you want to go forward. And then some really great stuff. And this is when, I kind of had an inkling of the revelation right before I started working out, but this is right when I started really being about it. That I need to love where I'm at and love what I'm doing. I still wasn't putting on weight here. I didn't really put on weight until the third month, but stuff was starting to happen and it was really great. You can go ahead and move. Yep. I think that's day 90.
Yeah, that's sweet.
So,
nice job.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. And like I said, Body Beast is legit. Too legit to quit. These are after I switched from Body Beast to actually a bodybuilding.com workout just to kind of work on the muscle confusion. And so this is right after the 90 days. And yeah, it's pretty great. I feel good in my skin. Leg day. I hate leg day. Leg day is awful. And then repping my Shakeology shirt. Just feeling good. And I don't really have a lot of I didn't have a lot of before photos of how small my biceps were, but I've never had biceps in my life. So that was pretty cool. Yeah. I think it's really discouraging. People don't understand, when you're overweight, people are understandable of having body image issues. You can go forward. But having body image issues and how that is, that affects our psyche. But they don't really realize that skinny guys, I got told all the time, you should love your body. You've got a great body. And it's I've been compared to a lot of people, and when you're compared, it's you look and you see what you don't have. And, people don't realize the psychological issues that come along with being skinny. If you're, I can eat, it's great. I can eat whatever I want. However, the six pack that I had, I didn't work for, and I knew that. And I was tiny. And when you look in the mirror, the male standard is that you want to see a man looking back, and men tend to be heavier. And that's kind of what, that was what caused the self-loathing. And so, as I started to realize that it doesn't matter where I am or how big I am. My end goal is 200 pounds. But you know what? If I get there by the time I'm 50, I'm fine with that. My first goal is 180, and I hit it. And so, now it's I just love myself, and I'm gonna continue working out because I love who I am. Love spending time with me. and so because of that, workout becomes easy. Beachbody becomes easy. I got to, that passion, I got to Success Club 18 in my first month, and and then I had a really, really, really slow 2 weeks, and and that's being the hyperactive person I am, I normally would just be okay, well, I'm done, and I would move on, and it has been easy to not yo-yo once I came to that conclusion, because now, from a money standpoint, I'm worth investing as well. And from a time standpoint, and from a gym standpoint, and from an everything standpoint, I'm worth investing in. And when you are worth investing in, you'll do everything you can to make sure that your investment has a return. Just like you steward your portfolio, you want to steward your body. And I think that's something that is missing in fitness, is that love of who you are, and that love for your customers as well.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, right on. I want to give everybody who's joining us on the call an opportunity to comment or ask a question. Also, if you're watching on Facebook Live, hey, what's up? Feel free to type in a comment below if you have something that you want to ask Anthony. If you don't, I got a couple other questions. I could talk forever.
Right? Me too.
I could do this all day. Okay, here, I'll start us off while you're thinking. So I know you're super busy, right? Like
Yeah.
you're traveling, you're international, you're always up to something. You probably have PT on top of what you're doing with Body Beast. How do you do it? You know,
So
big.
yes, I mean, I am actually extremely busy. I work 12-hour days. And then I devote about 4 hours to my business every day. And then I have a wife and a daughter, and I spend time with them. Don't have to, I get to. I run a volleyball program for my group. I actually have a play opening this weekend that I'm starring in. So a lot of big things happening. How do I do it? Honestly, honestly, and I'm one of the most disorganized people I've ever met in my life. It starts with that thought of if I love myself, I'm gonna invest in myself, and so for me, what I do is at work, I set myself up for success. I make sure that I get a whole bunch of work done, and then I make sure that I'm well rested, so that when I do get home, I also work grades. That's why I'm up at this time. And so like we get PT breaks during work, and I make that happen for me. A lot of employers, right, nowadays are super health conscious and are wanting their employees to take care of themselves. And I would be surprised if you worked at a desk job and didn't get any sort of PT time whatsoever. I mean, there's studies all the time about how people need to move because of ergonomics and how it's affecting our lives. But after work, I reach out to 3 to 5 people a day. I have conversations with them. On my breaks, I maximize my time. On my drives home, they take about a half hour. I'm calling clients and talking to them and building my business, because I want people to come to the same revelation I had. And if I can help just one person come to the point where they love what they see in the mirror, then I've done well. And that's really what's important to me. And so, I give my time to my clients. I have all my clients on rotating schedules. I have 60 clients, but I have probably 12 active clients. So they're all on a rotation schedule every week. And I reach out to 3 of them a day and just make sure that they're doing okay. I ask them where they're at, what they're doing. Being in Germany, I can't just really call people. So whenever they're on Facebook Messenger, I'm there with them and messaging them and talking to them. And then also when you're passionate about something, it's really easy to talk about it. And so like when I'm face to face with people, I talk about it all the time. And people, when I'm in the gym, people are starting to notice the transformation and asking me what I'm doing. And I take every opportunity to talk to people and just talk to them. I mean, selling is great, but it makes money, but it's not, in my opinion, the best practice. Just talking to people. I made successful 18 last month, and it was honestly just talking to them and telling them what I did and loving on them and giving them my time, honestly. And time is, I think, one of the biggest things that we can give people, and one of the things that we give the least of sometimes. And I think that in taking care of people, I want to make sure that they have my time and my full undivided attention and time. So
yeah. So for what I take from that, and just to kind of echo it back, when people say I don't have time, I mean, it's not so much about do you have time, it's about do you want to make something of the time you have.
Right. I mean, you're gonna prioritize what's important to you.
Right.
And I still have time with my wife and daughter. And from a biblical standpoint, I know not all of you are Christians, but I believe in, I'm a Christian, and from a biblical standpoint, 9 is more than 10. And the more time you give and invest in people, the more time you honestly have. My parents are 2 of the busiest people I know. They're pastors, and I cannot fathom how much time they just sit on their deck. And then you look at their lives and how productive they are. It's ridiculous. And so like I'm a firm believer in that if you give time away, it comes back. You give money away, it comes back. So.
Yep. Yep. Right on. Any other comments or questions?
Can you talk a little bit about your meal plan and how that's helped you and what you've done for eating?
Yep. So I will be honest with you. I am not a perfect meal planner. Being skinny, you really don't have to worry about meal planning as much. But what I will say is that is something that I've been really working on this rotation of Body Beast. To get big, my standard with myself. That was another thing, is that when you fail in one area, it tends to give you an excuse to fail in another area, right? So you get this challenge pack and you get Shakeology or supplements if you're doing Body Beast. You get Shakeology, you get your nutrition package. If you're doing 21-day fix, you get your awesome little containers. You get your coach who's like, yeah, let's go. You get everything, right? And then you fail in nutrition, right? Because McDonald's is just amazing. You want to be fit, but Krispy Kreme is life, right? So and that happens, and then you're like, oh, I've messed up. Well, I'm already a screw up, and I'm already a terrible person, because when I look in the mirror, I hate myself anyways.
Oh no, it just froze.
So then you make excuses because you've already failed. And so what I did with myself is I allowed myself to fail. I got to the point where it was like, you know what, if I fail in nutrition, it's okay. So my first 3, and because of all my failures in the past, I was very, very gun shy when it came to Body Beast. So for my first 3 weeks of Body Beast, I've been a coach for forever, so I didn't have a challenge pack. I didn't have all the nutrition stuff. So my first 3 weeks, I said, you know what, I'm not going to buy supplements. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to prove to myself that this is something that I can do. So for 3 weeks, I didn't buy supplements. Then I bought protein powder. Then, I moved on, and my standard with myself was okay, I'm gonna meal prep, and then I failed. So then I backed up, and I was like, okay, I'm just always going to make sure that I'm full. If I'm hungry, I'm doing something wrong. That was where I really had success, because then I could eat whatever I wanted, but I was always full. And then my wife told me I eat like a third grader, and so we got back on, and I also made sure I had tons of protein. And so, I always had chicken available. I always had other things available, but then I also had candy bars and zebra cakes and Krispy Kreme, because we just got it here in Germany and it's amazing. But, and then my wife told me I eat like a third grader. So we started meal prep, and we just bought the master's hammer and chisel, and it's the best of both worlds. I get the container, she gets the workout, and we do it together, and it's really great. So that's really what we've been doing is sticking with the meal prepping with master's hammer and chisel. And that's actually been making it foolproof and really helping us.
Is that helpful, Austin?
All right, missed it. What did you say?
Was that helpful?
I guess I was thinking about more specifics, because
Okay.
I tend to struggle, especially when it comes to veggies. All the other categories I seem to have conquered pretty well, but veggies, it's like, duh.
What's really great is, so are you looking to bulk, or are you trying to just healthy or like tone? What are you trying to do?
I'm looking to bulk because I've always been, I actually lost a bunch of weight within the past 2 years, and I definitely don't want to lose it anymore, but I've never really been muscular, and I want to change that.
Yeah, so something that's really great with veggies is, they're super healthy for you and they're super good for you. What I would honestly recommend is look at the portion sizings of what you're supposed to be eating, and take that portion size. And as long as the fat content is not high, you need a certain amount of fats in a day. And if you, and I know that IFYM is not our program, right? But if you need something that calculates it, and you don't have Body Beast, or you don't have 21-day fix, or you don't have Master's Hammer and Chisel, go down and look up an IFYM calculator, and it'll tell you how much fat you're supposed to have in a day, right? And as you're trying to bulk, you don't want to take in too much fat, because then it'll create not the aesthetic muscle when you're trying to bulk. So something though that I do that I love with my bell peppers or with my carrots is, you know what tzatziki is?
Oh, a what? Oh, it's like a dipping sauce, right?
Yeah, it's kind of like, basically it's protein, not protein. It's Greek yogurt basically. It's a thinner Greek
Okay.
yogurt with actual like cucumbers and stuff in it. It's a Mediterranean type dish, like hummus, but it's not garbanzo beans. It's actually tzatziki. And look at a serving size for that, and take a serving size of that and try it. And instead of like scooping your vegetables into it and like taking a big old heaping portion of it, just start flavoring stuff and like start enjoying actual flavor of things instead of like that's my big issue is I just stuff things in my mouth. It's kind of disgusting to watch me eat popcorn. So that's what I would recommend is flavor stuff with other things, and don't beat yourself up if you're not perfect.
For the tzatziki sauce, do you know what it is on the container system? Like,
Tzatziki, I think, would be considered a fat or a dressing.
okay.
I think.
Because like I eat a lot of carrots and peppers, and I'm like, I after like in another few weeks, I'm gonna be like really sick of it, and then it's like, okay, what else is out there?
So you eat a lot of carrots and bell peppers, you said?
Yeah, I usually make chili every week, but I think that only gets so far. So I think I'm just looking for something else to throw into the rotation.
Cucumbers?
Yeah, I could do that.
Cucumbers, tomatoes are great. Man, I love tomatoes. I can sit with tomatoes and eat them like apples. They're amazing. I mean, what I would do is do a week of carrots, a week of bell peppers, a week of cucumbers, and then keep that rotation. That way, you're not getting sick of it. You get a break of it. You know,
Yeah.
you're sick of it by day 7, but then I've got a break, and it's cucumber day.
Yeah, I'll think about that. That's a good
I
idea.
mean, like my wife really loves delicious tasting meals, and I'm to the point now where I'm like meal is fuel instead of taste at this point. And then I'll go out and I'll eat something that is tasty, but like for the most part my meal prep is basically fuel for me. And so like that's kind of one of the discussions we have is she's like, we're gonna have this on Monday, this on Tuesday, this on Thursday, this on Friday. And I'm like, honey, we have to like spend time building this stuff, right?
Yeah.
And so what we actually have started doing is our compromise is we do two dinners on alternating days and two lunches on alternating days. That way we're only doing 4 recipes instead of 14. And
Yeah.
so that's really what I'd recommend. And simplicity is the best thing you can do. So cook something and you'll get sick of it by day 7. You'll be like, I just want a zebra cake. Drink your Shakeology, deal with your craving, and then move past it. And then on Monday it's something completely different. And you're like, yay, I get to do new things.
Yeah. I think that would
help.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll just have to throw cucumbers in because I haven't gotten sick quite yet because it's so easy just to carry carrots around and you kind of just eat them throughout the day and they're healthy, and before you know it, it's like 2 servings of greens that's like done.
Yeah. What's actually really cool too with vegetables is if you go to like, I have just forgotten what that is, Ross or TJ Maxx or Marshalls, you normally can find julienne cutters, or if you have a julienne cutter, they're amazing. It really speeds up your meal prep, especially with cucumbers and carrots, because you can just cut those bad boys really fast and you're done with your vegetables for the week in like 10 minutes, as opposed to like peeling and all that crap. That's what you have to do.
One thing that's helped with my veggies is, and I don't know if you have it in your grocery store, but my grocery store sells pre-cut raw veggies, and it comes in like different combinations. One of them is carrots, broccoli, and cauliflower, and then there's another one that's like carrots, peas, and broccoli, like snow peas or snap peas, and it keeps really great all day. Like I'll have like a a long day, and it's fine. I just throw it back. And they're pretty they're kind of sweet veggies, so it is the kind of thing that you can munch on.
Yeah, I've actually tended to stay away from those just because it's a little bit more expensive than getting like a bag of like baby carrots, for example. And like I'll buy like 2 or 3 a week bags of baby carrots.
Another thing is you can that's really good is if you don't like for me, I'm not a really big fan of raw broccoli. Not a big fan at all. But what I do is I steam it, and
Yeah,
when you
should
portion
be.
it out for the week, it's softer and it's really good. And broccoli is actually really delicious. Your office mates hate you because of the smell when you cook it, but it's really good.
Yeah, it's super healthy.
Super great. I love steamed broccoli.
Yeah.
Or roast it. Roasting it's good. So where it has a little char on top, that's also really good.
What do you do for roasting it? How do you do it?
Broiler. My wife takes care of it for the most part, but I know that she puts it under a broiler for I think 10 minutes.
Okay.
10 minutes. I would watch it. I would do it and then watch it. Also, there's tons of Pinterest stuff, and I think I have recipes on my Pinterest that deal with how to cook vegetables.
Okay, I'll take a look.
I make top ramen really well.
Okay.
That's about it. That and cupcakes. Don't ask me why I can make cupcakes really well. I just do.
Good discussion about veggies.
Heck yeah.
How are you doing with time? Do you have to go or?
Nope, I'm good.
More minutes.
I can take more questions.
Because I had one, but I also want to just make sure other people have the floor if you've not had a chance. Can we talk about form and modification?
Yeah, totally.
Points in your program or whatever that you were presented with some sort of a move that you're like, I can't do that now, and how did you overcome it?
Yep. So being a gymnast, I don't know if you know this about gymnasts, but they are always hurt. And the day they quit is the day that their body just decides to also quit. So I actually have two shoulders that dislocate naturally. Super painful, not much fun. And then my back also gets completely out of alignment, and I have to go to physical therapy. So I am actually very, very, very well versed in injuries and how they affect the body, and how, you're like, oh, my ankle sort of hurts, and I think I might have a cough, so I'm not going to go to the gym today. So with my clients, a lot of times what I do is they'll tell me, hey, I'll just use me for an example. My chest flies are a really difficult thing for me, right? And so because as I come down, my shoulder will actually dislocate. And so what I did is I treat the 3 months completely differently. So for those of you that don't Body Beast has 3 months. It has the build phase, the bulk phase, and the beast phase. In the build phase, my philosophy in it is that is the time for you to get your form down, to really just get strong. Nobody cares about how you look in month 1. Like, really, nobody's going to be like, oh, you haven't gotten results in month 1. You're doing something wrong, right? No one's going to care. And you probably shouldn't care either. It's about you. Anyways, so how I treat bulk build, is that is my time to actually just get in there and get the reps in. So I am constantly, like, with chest flies, when I started off, I was doing 10 pounders. Okay, like it was, and as a man, that is embarrassing in the gym. Like, you're sitting next to a guy who's bench pressing 975 pounds plus his girlfriend, and like you're over here with like 10 pounders. Like, it's really embarrassing. But you know what? It's not about them. It's not their fitness journey. It's yours, right? And you're worth the investment, and you're working on the investment. So what I do is I go down to 10 pounders and I just work on that form and really feel it. And you know what's crazy is by the end of 15, then 12, then 8, you actually feel something. And it's actually, I've noticed the times that I've gone down, especially when I do chest exercises, the times that I've gone down are the times that I've really felt something like stirring in my chest. And then, like, when I'm heavy, I'm like, I'm kind of tired, but I'm really not that tired, right? And it's because when you're lighter, you're actually focusing on that form and really moving it. So I do that. And like, actually, I had a guy tonight, one of my clients messaged me, and he said, hey, on the third set of push-ups, I actually cannot even do them. I'm getting on the diamond push-ups, they're just kicking my butt after, I think it's chest flies. I can't remember the workout completely, but after the chest flies, it's I can't do these diamond push-ups. Should I go down in weight on the chest flies? And I told him, because he's not injured, but I told him to stick with the chest flies and to go to girl push-ups on his push-ups. And he said he felt an amazing change. And the thing is that, a lot of times, especially as men, when we go into the gym, we immediately want to go for the 50s. We want to go to the incline press and we want to just press it, because when we were 20, we could do it, right? But what we've got to realize is that if you can't lift if you're hurt. So you've got to protect yourself, and you've got to modify in order to make sure things are happening. And that's the cool thing about Body Beast DVDs is you see the modifications in front of you. You see a big old ripped guy doing the modifications. He's doing them, and he's still over there dripping in sweat. And so the thing is that when you go into the gym, check your form. The Body Beast app actually shows you how this can look. And if you don't use the Body Beast app and you use pen and paper, because sometimes the Body Beast app can be infuriating, you can go to bodybuilding.com and just look up your workout, look up the thing, and it'll show you there as well. There's ample resources to check your form. And I always tell my clients as well, send me videos of your form. Send me what you're doing, right? Because I actually have, being in Germany and being in the military, I have people who are in California, I have people who are in Washington, people who are in Texas and Georgia, and then I also have people who are here. And so I always tell them, send me your form. I would much rather you wake me up at 2 a.m. to show me your form and me say, ooh, that's going to cause injury, or say, no, you're fine, keep going, than have you get hurt. And so, and also a thing to remember is if you're working out at the gym, remember that Body Beast is a program that is designed for the home. So what that means is that you are only required with Body Beast to have barbells and dumbbells, but in the gym you have machines, you've got spotters, you've got inclines things that will hit your muscles in different ways. And so if you see something like a bent over row and you're like, you know what, my back is just bothering me so bad today, it's a terrible day to do back day, go over to the row machine so you're not bent over, do what you can do and get that thing done, right? And if you can't finish 15, well, then you went too high in weight, and do the same exact weight for 12. And if you have to do the same exact weight for 8 because you can't go up because you're just dying, do it and finish the 8. But finish it with good form. That's a big thing for me, is form. I think you're muted.
There we go. There we go. Yep, absolutely. We all preach form, and every time that we hear that, it's just, we have to get that reminder in.
Heck yeah. Because you just want to finish the rep. You're like, yeah, go me, right? And like, my ego got to me right at the end of Beast, and I went from 10-pound dumbbell curls to I had the curl bar, and I had, I think, almost 100 pounds, and I was like super excited. And I was going and I was on the preacher curl, and I went so hard that I actually pulled my forearm. Well, when I pulled my forearm, I went from being able to do 100-pound curls to going back to the 15s. And it was like, well, I would much rather do 95 and not get hurt than do 100 and have to go back to 15s. And that's kind of something people need to think about when they go to the gym. My buddy keeps telling me that every time he's one of the guys I'm trying to get into Body Beast. And he always tells me, yeah, dude, I got hurt today because I just go too hard. And it's like, stop going too hard. Build your body so that it can withstand that kind of trauma and torture. So.
And it's not just the primary muscles, but it's all the stabilizing muscles as well. That's
absolutely
be there.
You should be doing, when you're doing curls, you should be doing it in a standing position. You should be doing it in a sitting position. You should be doing it at the preacher bench. Like, Body Beast is designed to be done, and then to be done again, and then to be done again, and to be done again. But it's also designed to educate you, so that as you're going, you're like, you know what? I just don't want to do sitting curls today. I want to do standing curls, because as you stand, it'll stabilize you. And it'll actually standing works your abs better than almost anything. You almost don't even need to do abs if you're actually using your stabilizer muscles, because you'll slowly create them as you're doing it.
Yep.
So don't not do abs. Abs is good, but the creative kitchen.
But you can corroborate that if you just do 1,000 crunches a day and that's it, you're not going to get abs.
Nothing.
Stuffing your face with Krispy Kremes and
my ab workout is 5 minutes long, and all it is leg lifts, leg curls to my pecs, and then heel touches and Russian twists, and I do that 4 times for 10 each. It's nothing because your abs are actually created in the kitchen, but they're done in the gym. Yep. But every other workout works your abs.
Right.
So.
Right. Yeah, right on. Anything else that you guys were wondering about or comments? Feel free to take yourself off mute.
Hi, Anthony.
Hey, Vanessa.
I was wondering how you manage running your Beachbody business from Germany.
Well, it means that my market's a lot smaller, right? Because in Germany, I can't sell to Germans yet. Beachbody catch up. And it's hard as well because we're actually having a lot of shipping issues right now. I think my Master's Hammer and Chisel has been reshipped 3 times. So, but little known loophole with a lot of coaches who aren't military is that military Beachbody sends to APOs. So you have a lot of I've got a lot of people here that have never heard of Body Beast that are wanting to do it. So like that's how I manage it. Is I take care of the people that are here, and then also we post 3 to 5 times a day. We Shakeology, we work out. People are aware on our Facebook, maybe a little bit too much sometimes, that we do Beachbody, right? So how I keep up with it there is I post, and honestly, those professional photos, a lot of times they'll tell you to use a photo that is similar to your before photo and your after photo. And while I agree with that, I also have a before and after that use my after as a professional photo. And it's the one of me standing. Can you show the one of me standing with my it's red with the red background, Peter? So my before and after is my before, which is really kind of weird looking. And then my after is my professional shots. And the professional shots, the reason I use those more often than anything is because with my professional shots, it's more shocking when people see it. People aren't going to sit there and analyze unless they're complete dirtbags and say, oh, well, the light's hitting you just right, and so that's why you have abs. And it's like, no, so that's actually my after picture that I use for everything. And so when I put that on my 90-day transformation, because I do a 90-day transformation, but it's about once a week. That's when I get a lot of my stuff. I'm actually about a month and a half removed from that. So now I start to use more Instagram photos, and filters and stuff. But when I put those up, people in America see them more than the people in Germany, and I take care, and that happens. So working graveyards in Germany, I don't know how good you math. I don't math very good, but working graveyards in Germany, it actually puts me on the American sleep schedule. So I'm actually up when America is up. So, I also respond when I have time, but when I have time, I make sure that I am responding. So people will message me, and then I'll message them, and then we'll slowly start to kind of come together, and it'll be like, okay, we finally have like 10 minutes where we can message, and that's when I really make my pitches and have my conversations and do that. But I make sure that the time that I have, I am actually using for those people. I'm making sure that my American clients get me at night, and my German clients get me during the day when I'm awake. And they, and that's kind of just how I work it. I finally have, I was an Emerald before I fell off the bandwagon at DLI, and now I finally just got back to Emerald. So I now actually have coaches underneath me again, who I can just be like, hey, can you take this customer? So that I can allow them, first off, to get their sales and to get the things they need. And then also it helps me, kind of fill in the gaps to make sure that people aren't falling through cracks.
Awesome. Thank you.
Does that help you?
Yeah, I was just curious, really.
Yeah.
I'm here in the States, but my wheels were turning as you were sharing your story and about being in Germany, and I just wasn't sure how that worked. So
it was very difficult, and in fact, I wasn't actually when I got here, I didn't pursue coaching. I have not been a coach. I've been a coach for 3 years, but I've been one of those coaches for 3 years, and so I actually, for me, because I love attention, for me, the key was actually doing Body Beast without having to post 3 times a day, because I had to do it for me and not for anyone else. And so when I got here, I had no intention of becoming a coach again. actually, at all, in any way, shape, or form. But when I started to realize that we had APOs, we had things to make us successful. There's apps that have been made to help out with Body Beast. When I realized that it was easy to do it here, and that my story was one that people need to hear in order to do something with themselves. I realized that it was time to become a coach, and to really help people. So that's kind of why I got into it again.
Yeah, I think that's awesome too. I really appreciated you sharing your struggles with body image, because I think it's really easy to discredit people that you don't perceive as having body image issues.
Absolutely.
And the fact is that there are people of all different shapes and sizes and reasons that they're working out or wanting to get healthy. And they all need someone that they can turn to who understands what they're going through. So
absolutely,
I think that's.
And I think that that's a big deal. Is that our ideal? The ideal customer in the fitness industry is someone who's overweight, who is looking to shed a few pounds, who in America just wants to shed it fast and be done with it. And I think that oftentimes we overlook the guys that are like, well, I have no one who really just understands my struggle. The skinny guy is, and the thing about the skinny guy is that oftentimes we feel completely disrespected, and that's, I hate that word, but we feel unadmired, I guess, because we're not big swole lifters. And in the men, and when you look at men in general, I mean, who's the popular guy? It's the quarterback of the football team. It's the linebacker. It's the big guys. And it's not the dancers. It's not the gymnasts, for sure. And so, I think that in adulthood, these things that we go through in high school, it kind of shape and form our views and our ideals. And so a lot of guys think that I'll never be that. I'll never have that. And I think that a lot of guys need to realize that they can have that. And so what happens is they go from being super skinny to dad bod. And there's never really a middle. And it's because no one took the time to say, no, this is possible. This is something you can do. It's going to take work. It's going to be hard, but this is something you can do. And I think that's super important.
Yeah, because I think no matter what your shape is, the fact is that transformation can happen for everyone. And I thought that was awesome. That really stuck out to me. And P.S. I loved the skinny guys. I just love bullets. That's the truth. But I always thought I was going to end up with like a skinny punk guy. That was how I pictured my life. And that's not what happened. But anyway, I didn't discredit the little guys.
Thanks, Vanessa.
All right, cool. We are nearing about an hour here, so I'm going to bring us to a close.
Awesome.
Thanks to everybody who is here live and everybody who's watching this in the replay. I really appreciate you taking the time here. And Anthony, I think you've just done such a fantastic job of living the mission of what we're doing here on Monday Mojo, which is just to prove as an example that if one person can do this, so can everybody else. So you had so many gems and nuggets, and I know I am so appreciative of your taking the time in the middle of the German night to come spend some time with us in the middle of your car. That was awesome.
Thanks. It was my pleasure. It was really a fun experience.
Fantastic. All right. Let's actually just do a little family selfie. I'll do a little screenshot. Make sure you give your biggest smile. There we go. Cool. All right. Have a great night and a good morning to you, Anthony. And I'll go ahead and send you the recording once it's uploaded.
Awesome. Thank you. Bye, guys.